welcome back. Now, before we get to Alex and his interview with the producers of Adam vs. the Man, I just want to show you this article to set it up. So if we can go to that article now. You can see it right there. Federalized local police helped arrest Adam Kokesh. Now let's take a look at what the article has to say. Since even before the events of 9/11, the globalist think tank known as the RAND Corporation has made its intent to federalize and militarize local and state police known. And for more on this, let's go to this interview with Alex.
And welcome back to InfoWars Nightly News. We've got breaking information this evening. Obviously, yesterday, the official criminal complaint came out, and now they're saying that Adam Kokesh may not be released tomorrow. And we have breaking news with the general manager of Adam vs. the Man radio TV show and the podcast producer, Daryl Young, as well as, again, the general manager, Lucas Jewell. Of course, Adam announced a July 4th armed, peaceful march, civil disobedience, to point out that there is a Second Amendment right to have loaded firearms in D.C. The Supreme Court ruled that in D.C. versus Heller back in 2008. I have said I don't think it's a good idea because it'll allow them to escalate some type of confrontation when we're actually already having major victories in the Second Amendment. But that said, I went further and stated I still admire the courage of this type of civil disobedience. The police chief famously said a few weeks ago of D.C. that, well, we'll authorize civil disobedience of protesting, but not of loaded firearms. Protesting is not illegal even in D.C., though they don't allow it because they are a criminal group. This is just amazing what this country's turned into. Real civil disobedience is challenging a law overthrown close to 5 years ago. That's black people going in, for those that don't know, along with people like Charlton Heston and others, and saying, we're going to sit at the lunch counter and order lunch even though no blacks allowed. Or we're going to sit at the front of the bus. There were laws against blacks sitting at the front of the bus. You had to sit at the back of the bus. So that's what civil disobedience is. They now mean it means being civil when you protest. This is how they destroy language. Now, that said, ladies and gentlemen, I told Adam a few weeks ago, I said, they're going to come after you on this. And I said, if anybody goes, I don't recommend you go armed. I recommend as people that are there, basically as neutral observers, to videotape everything so that the establishment can't run a false flag. Because you've never had a bigger awakening to the corrupt system than you're having right now. So it's very clear what I'm stating. The media has tried to spin it different ways. I understand under the law and common law, they have the right to do this. I respect the courage it takes to do it. I predicted this will not end well, for Adam at least, and his crew. Now, he has been held since Saturday there in Philadelphia, from the videos we've seen, for simply being there at a marijuana legalization rally. And in the complaint, they said the police began to approach him because he was doing the countdown for people to light up their, quote, marijuana cigarettes. And I'll show everybody a shot of the report. It's linked up in our articles at Infowars.com. And so all of that went on. And then they say that, well, when they tried to get into the circle of people with the microphone, that they had their arms linked, and that was basically a form of resistance. And so now, because of that, Adam Kokesh has been told he may be there for months, basically to keep him away from the July 4th armed rally, which is probably not going to stop no matter what the feds do now. And I'm really worried about this. I'm trying to, sit here and not demonize what Adam and others are doing, because certainly they're the good guys, but the system are the bad guys and know how to spin this. And people undoubtedly will show up armed. This has been done around the country with great success, exercising the Second Amendment. But D.C. is Mordor, as they say, on the Potomac. And so Lucas Jewell and Daryl Young have got several things to report to you here in this update tonight. We're going to go to them right now via telephone because their internet has been turned off. It's been paid. It's been turned off now. They've had their internet turned off for their TV/radio show. I guess if they're going to be outside the federal courthouse with their video feed, got to turn that off. And at the same time, they have talked to the only person who's been able to talk now to Adam Kokesh, and that is his father. And Adam did tell his father, and they're going to break this down for you, that indeed he's preparing for the long haul, commissary, everything. You don't go to trial now in America. You go directly to federal prison. And they could, come up to me if there's not witnesses, or who cares if there's witnesses, assault me, throw me on the ground, then charge me and disappear me directly into a federal prison. If America grovels and falls to its knees on this, they've won. We are now North Korea. Just like Europe, they're going to take all your bank accounts. That is the great goal, is bankrupt you politically to control you. So Lucas Jewell, Daryl Young, gentlemen, you've got the floor, joining us via telephone as they try to knock out your communications. Break down the facts of what we're facing here.
Artis, thank you for having us on today, brother. Yeah, thank you, Alex. We really appreciate all the coverage you've been giving us. We appreciate that you called for the army of cameras to be there for the open carry march. I know that your blanket of protection is well received. Well, as far as Adam goes, his dad has made contact with him. The only way he was able to make a phone call is our lawyer made a motion in court for him to actually be able to have a phone call, and the motion passed. Before that...
How many days did that take? How many days did that take? You're supposed to get it within 10 hours.
Well, he got it 4 days later. So I guess that's how it is in America. Federal agents will grab you for nothing more than speech crimes and lock you in a federal penitentiary. But his father has told us he's being held in the special housing unit, and it was something that he definitely, and NA Poe definitely wanted to get out because of the broad publicity potential was the reason for them to be held in this special housing unit. But from the sounds of it, Adam is prepared for the long haul.
I've read about these special units for, quote, media people and others so that you can't talk to other people. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, Alex. I believe the way this is being made out to be is it's similar to solitary confinement. And since he has only one phone call after being there for now 5 days, I don't doubt that this is intentional to try to mess with him.
Wow. So solitary confinement, amazing. And then had to go to court just to get a phone call. I've seen cases like Dr. Sell, who've interviewed his lawyers over the years, who just simply was going to fight charges of Medicare and Medicaid fraud. So they grabbed him and drugged him for many years and threw him in a federal prison. No judge, no jury, no nothing, until now he's basically been out, but really has a lot of health problems. This went on for like a decade. These are very dangerous people. I mean, they carpet bomb, whole villages full of children, and they hate Americans more than anybody. This is an occupation force, and that's what I kept trying to get. But I mean, I guess Adam knew all this. I mean, did he have any idea when myself and others warned him of what they would do to him?
I'm not. We weren't exactly planning on getting arrested for this march. We had held this similar protest for 4 times before the Smokedown Prohibition. This was the 5th time, and this is the first time we had arrest. So we weren't planning on being arrested. I do believe he was planning on being arrested for the 4th of July march, but he wasn't expecting to be arrested until then.
Now, I feel like they're trying to force a felony on him so he's not able to open carry in the state of Virginia, which will then make it worse for him to walk into the state, into the district of criminals. I just feel like this is all a setup to try to prevent him from being out there active with the people.
Well, there's a lot of cowards out there who criticize you guys and say you're agent provocateurs and things. I don't think that's the case. I recognize what you're doing is historical. It is a civil rights issue. It's the type of stuff that scares the system, because if the march does happen and then there's arrest or anything happens, it's going to come out, well, wait, the Supreme Court said you can have loaded rifles in D.C., so it would force that. So instead, they came to when he was on federal property. It was perfect. They were ready. They had local police with them. In fact, we have an article up on Infowars.com if we can punch this up. Federalized local police helped arrest Adam Kokesh, police-less demonstrators alongside terrorists. And they have special police now in every city with these weird red armbands assigned to the feds and it's all part of a RAND Corporation program. We have links to all those documents and a RAND Corporation insider who blew the whistle as well. So it is a very powerful article up on Infowars.com. And now we've got more and more stuff coming out about special prisons for political activists. All of this is going on. But specifically for the record, you guys, break it down, because talk about what exactly his dad said. You told me, you said Adam thinks now he'll be held into July.
Right. Adam has asked that we crowdsource a whitehouse.gov petition to demand his release and the release of N.A. Poe. He's given us a lot of orders on how to keep the operation going. So we are going to keep Adam versus the Man alive and thriving as always. But Adam has told us to tell everyone that he's doing mentally and physically okay, and thank everyone for their support.
Well, at least he didn't end up like one of the friends of one of the bomber patsies from the Boston bombing who they went to question and then shot in the head today. I mean, this is really getting creepy. But word for word, though, his dad talked to him, the one phone call, and Adam has been basically told or believes he's going to be held for a long time.
Yeah, he feels like they're treating him unfairly, and they're going to hold him for as long as they can. Of course, at least until the rally, so he's not out there. They're just really scared. They're scared right now. They don't know what else to do other than to keep him detained.
We have lawyers working on the situation who are trying to get him out of the cage, but it's complicated when you're Adam Kokesh and you're organizing a march on D.C. with
an armed march. When and the media's been spending it as you're planning to attack and shoot people. You guys have said rifles on your backs, loaded, to challenge the unconstitutional law that's been overturned. I mean, why do we trust cops with guns or anybody else? Why is it so evil to have citizens with guns? A real criminal would just drive across the bridge with guns, do whatever they wanted. I mean, no, it's the idea of people saying we're not bad. Now, people that are scared of this, they're scared because they believe it'll give the system the opportunity to stage something and try to demonize gun owners. I mean, regardless, though, you can't demonize the people organizing the march. You can disagree with it. You can say you think it's bad tactics, like people like Lou Rockwell have said. I mean, I think he's, had reasonable criticism. I myself have just tried to, I know you guys are going ahead with this. Are you still going ahead with this?
Yes, sir. With or without Adam, this march will go on.
Yeah, Adam has delegated people to take charge of the 4th of July event, and as Daryl said, with or without Adam, the march will go on. And Adam has spoken before that he doesn't like the term leader because he thinks that all of us as individuals are smart enough to collectively do these kind of ideas, and that's what we're going to do. The idea is still a good idea. It's still a safe idea. All the people who are worried about patsies or anything like that, think about the time that it takes for you to draw a weapon from your back to the ready position. Someone could easily tackle you, take you down. It's important to remember that this is a peaceful event.
Well, also, whenever they send in wound-up patsies, they do it with defenseless little kids, not with a bunch of guys with guns. Listen, my issue is this. We can't always let the fact that they're going to do dirty tricks shut down everything we do. I mean, my God, the police are now trying to say no one's allowed to protest Bilderberg in England. Well, then we'll try to go, and then, I plan to be peaceful just as media and cover this, but if they want to arrest me, that's fine. I mean, my God, in America, we have free speech zones. In England, they're now setting up highway checkpoints. I mean, the criminals have taken over. They know they're imploding things, and they want to dominate us and get us to accept going back into slavery. But again, I've got to say that, to say there aren't leaders, we're all individuals and have rights, but people have a right to also resonate with people who they believe are leaders. Ron Paul's a leader. Many other people are leaders who buck the system. So I think leaders are very important, but real leaders, grassroots leaders, again, Do you guys understand my position on this? Because people say in talk radio, you've always got to have, never say when you've been wrong. Always, this is the old rule of talk radio. I don't follow it. Always say you know what you're talking about. Never correct yourself, and always be very, very clear. I am clear on all the general things of society. It's just that Adam Kokesh announces this. Couple days go by. I'm watching to see what the media does. It gets picked up by Drudge. It was already in a bunch of newspapers. And so I come out and say, okay, Adam, well, I see your point, but I personally wouldn't do it. Here's why. But I understand it's your right as an American. It'd be kind of like somebody in the Deep South who'd be the first slave to try to run away. I'd say, well, your chances aren't very good, but I agree with what you're doing in spirit. It's just the letter of it. I just got a bad feeling. Do you guys see what I'm saying?
Well, Alex, if you believe that guns as inanimate objects are inherently dangerous, then yeah, I would be afraid. But I believe that guns offer a source of protection, and I believe that is your natural right to choose how you best protect yourself.
Sure, but you're missing it. This is important. I won't keep you much longer. We'll get you back on the radio in the next few days. I'm going to go back to Jakari Jackson, waiting in the other studio with InfoWars Nightly News tonight. I'm here in Studio A. He's over there in the big Studio B. But, sitting here talking to you right now, I think you missed what I was just saying. I get a bunch of guys with rifles strapped to their back, openly carrying. I would feel safer there in, say, Austin, Texas, or in, Detroit, Michigan. I understand criminals are always going to have guns. They're going to go look for defenseless people. I get all that. People are saying this is a confrontation with Mordor. It's like the moment at the end of V for Vendetta when they all go past the troops and then the government falls. That happened with Ceausescu in Romania. That's happened with Mussolini. It's happened hundreds of times in world history where the police stand down when the peasants bring their pitchforks out. Okay, and, storm Frankenstein's castle, to use a fiction example. They get, as criminal, archetypal globalists that have occupied the city, that if they let one ant stand up, they might all stand up. Those little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. It's not about food, it's about power. In fact, we'll play that clip as we go back to Jakari in a moment. I'm saying to you, okay, what I've seen with COINTELPRO, and I don't want to get up here and fearmonger to you guys. I just wanted Adam to know this isn't trying to dance at the Capitol and get arrested, showing there's no free speech in D.C. He's been to Fallujah. I'm not sitting there saying he doesn't know what's going on in this world. He was there when that was all going down. My only issue is these people will put bullets in folks' heads covertly, plant bombs on you, anything. They will do anything, anything. So I was just simply trying to say, because once the day starts, I think it could end up being a victory, a peaceful march with guns. If they try to arrest you then, it'll make a court case. They've already lost. That's why you're in danger before it. And that's why I tried to say, if it goes off, we need media there. But then I don't even want to send in citizen media because it's so dangerous, because they will then spin it and demonize our operation as well. And you're like, well, what have you done wrong? You're simply saying as media, you'll cover it. I get it. I've already got the police chief of the constabulary in North London trying to talk to me the last few days. I've been too busy to call him. I'm going to call him tomorrow. It's already night, very late. It's like midnight or later over there right now. They're talking about not even allowing media around it. See, that will show we are in deep tyranny. So I admire the courage. I'm saying, as an old school hand of the world, that my gut says danger, Will Robinson. Now, go ahead. You heard my slavery analogy. And
I totally understand and respect how you feel, but if we don't stand up now, will we ever get that chance again? They're already taking people's guns, and if we don't stand up now for our Second Amendment, we will never have that amendment to protect ourselves. So that's why we're choosing to do this now and move forward with or without Adam, because time is almost near where we're not going to have that right to bear arms, because all the arms is going to be in the hands of the government. Sure.
I mean, I know you want to be identified as a human being and a liberty lover, but Mr. Young, you're a black guy, and so I'm not using these analogies of slavery because you're here today. I use them all the time because it's the best analogies. I mean, this is like somebody trying to get off the plantation 20 years before the abolitionist movement was even big. That's all I'm saying is I'm not going to sit there and say, yeah, I'm egging you on, Mr. Young. You know, I'm egging you on, Mr. Kokesh, Mr. Jewell. I'm saying, okay, I admire what you're doing, but it's dangerous as hell.
You're absolutely right. And, you know, in this day and age, you know, that's the chance that we take. We know it's always a possibility that things might happen because this has happened before in the past, and not a conspiracy because our government has done these things repeatedly over and over again, whether it's kidnapping or killing people. Is just what they do. And, you know, I said, if we don't stand up and take that role and do what we do, who will?
And Alex, you mentioned the last scene from V for Vendetta. What a beautiful scene it would be if the people would march on Babylon with weapons ready to take our kingdom back.
But when you say take it back, see, Adam used provocative language of this is an armed revolt, but it's armed showing that we are armed. I mean, I get the play on words, but that could really be used in court against him, twisting. He used other...
Yeah, we were revolting against marijuana laws to smoke down prohibition. That was an armed revolt, and we were armed with marijuana devices. So, you know, revolt and armed, I guess, are two different words, but are being combined right there.
You know, there are very few issues that really tear me because I get what you're saying. I get what you're doing. I just don't want to see you guys discredited or anybody hurt. And, you know, I mean, here's an example. Yesterday, callers kept saying, do you think the tornado could have been a weather weapon? The tornado from and I said, well, there are weather weapon programs, and, you know, here it is in the Associated Press, and here's the UN treaty, but, you know, there are real tornadoes, so I don't know. They ran, no exaggeration, 10 articles I saw today. I mean, there's more than 10. I'm just saying 10. It was a bunch of them, saying Alex Jones says a weather weapon did it. So, see, let's say you guys go, they got some sniper, shoots a bunch of people, blames it on you. They're going to say it was Alex Jones's march. I'm saying these people are dirty criminals. But my thing is, look at armed marches from Phoenix to Dallas. You know, Malcolm X did it. You know, a lot of people are doing these armed marches. A right you don't use is lost. And why is it so bad that we have guns? I mean, who are we? How come government can have the guns, but we can't? Listen, I've been doing a lot of the talking here because you guys are nice and sit back. I want to give Lucas Jewell and Daryl Young, both of you, about 5 minutes each to make any other statements you want to make.
Alex, first, you know, thank you for having us. Thank you for all your support. And whether or not you're armed on the D.C. March, I hope to see you there. And along with all of our other supporters, people, if you cannot come with a gun, still bring a camera. That's probably more of a valuable weapon at this point than a gun because we have the numbers with guns. We want to make sure every single angle is filmed. No stone goes unturned. But as far as Back to Adam goes, be sure to check out the whitehouse.gov petition, which will be posted on the Facebook later. Also, more links to come in support of Adam as far as his commissary fund, as far as ways to write him, as far as everything like that. The podcast will continue. The march will continue. Adam says he's in good health, mentally and physically. And everyone just stay tuned because this might actually get pretty interesting.
Yeah, and if you happen to be in the Philadelphia area, 700 Arch Street will be the address to the federal courthouse. Please come out there and show your support. Come with signs, come with cameras. Please do not attempt to go into the courtroom. We are trying to leave that room available for staff members only from the Panic Hour, Philly Norm, as well as the AVTM staff. If you need to reach us, Lucas at Adam vs. the Man will be Lucas' email address. Mine is Daryl at Adam vs. the Man. Adam vs. the Man is the website. As always, thank you for your time, brother.
All right, I got a few more questions since you guys didn't take that time before we go back to Jakari Jackson here on the InfoWars Nightly News. What about the internet being cut off? Because I talked to you before we went on air. I mean, you're saying it, the bills are paid, they cut it off?
I've been having to use internet from my cell phone as a hotspot. We're in the process of getting internet up and running since they shut that server down, and we're just going to keep things going. They can't stop what we do.
Well, I have no doubt that it's a connection between Adam and everything that's going on with him and the internet being shut off. Supposedly, it's because of copyright stuff. But yeah, I have no doubt in my mind that
not as an excuse to try to shut our operation down.
Yeah, well, you're making waves, and they do not want people protesting. They do not want people pointing out they have rights. What do you make in closing? Have you seen federalized local police helped arrest Adam Kokesh at Infowars.com story that we've been working on since yesterday? It went up today. Police list demonstrators alongside terrorists. Everybody was asking, how are local Philadelphia police aiding the park rangers that then took him to the federal prison down the street to then disappear for, quote, you guys locking arms? I mean, man, what a corrupt country. Where the gods of government disappear you into a federal prison for locking arms. That's what the complaint says, the criminal complaint. And then we've confirmed that these red badges, these red armbands, I mean, that they're like the federal lackey. The local police are now kind of like the Renfield to Count Dracula, his little Igor servants, and that I mean, this is really creepy.
Right, Alex. I saw the people with the armbands there. It was definitely odd. It did remind me of Hitler a little bit.
No, but those armbands, we've confirmed, that means they're part of a federal auxiliary, quote, anti-terror and anti-protest group. See, protesting is now terror. So see, you're a terrorist.
Wow. Also, something that may need to be put out, we may or may not have footage of this, but the prosecutor in Adam's case was at Smoketown Prohibition Part 5, which we believe compromises him as a prosecutor and makes him a witness. We believe it's a conflict of interest.
Whoa. You've proven this?
Oh, yes. We have him on maybe like 7 different videos.
Yeah, we have a lot of videos.
Oh, my God. This is a federal prosecutor that knew you'd gone out there 4 other times, or 3 other times, correct me if I'm wrong. And so they were there. Well, they put up a cage all around it. Enter the cage now. And then, so they were literally hunting you guys.
Correct. And we believe that is of no, there's no randomness that Adam was selected after they walked past, a big black guy with a blunt in his mouth. They walked past him and grabbed the guy with the mic in his hand. It's kind of suspect. Kind of suspect.
Listen, this has personally creeped me out. That you see the videos where the cops beat somebody up for no reason and then always charge them even when it's on tape. This is how they lock us all up. In Nazi Germany, they just grabbed you. Now they beat you up or tackle you and then charge you with assault. Nobody's safe. You've got all the persecution of government whistleblowers and even mainstream media people for no reason now. I mean, we had all better hang together or hang separate. This is outrageous.
Also, speaking of whistleblowers, there was a gentleman that was accused of planting something on Adam where he is not the troll. We actually have footage of Adam pointing out an undercover officer that was walking through the crowd and just happened to be buddy with the police officer. Like, there was a barrier on where only officers can stand, and this person wearing regular clothes was just walking through without a problem where our cameraman was pushed out the way. After reviewing all of our footage and analyzing it, we came to the assumption that this whole event was set up and it was plotted for them to be arrested. Because there was a podium that was not requested, where we even have footage of Adam saying, "Hey, this feels suspect. This might be a setup."
The government set up the podium without
to point out who's the head of the event, so they can know exactly who to target. This was a setup.
Try to lure out Adam and NAPO to separate themselves from the crowd.
Well, sure, to lure you into the cage, Daria. No. Listen, and I love how they always rough everybody up. They're just citizens like us, but they rough us up. It's not assault. I mean, all Adam did was have his arms rigid with his hands up. I've even seen them now. If you get in a fetal position, they'll stomp you in the head and charge you for their boot hitting your face. I'm not kidding, man. This country is. I just can't believe how bad it is.
Well, Alex, you're doing a good job with the info war, keeping everyone informed. That's what we're trying to do, to let everyone know about nonviolence and noncompliance and non-aggression. So we're we're keeping moving forward because this is a philosophical war, and we must win the philosophical war before we
Sure.
win the
Wouldn't you
war.
normally just be bonded out?
Yes, but they requested a detention hearing, which they can hold him for 72 additional hours until his detention hearing. And according to Adam and his lawyers, we are not expecting release, although it is a possibility, but we're not expecting it. It is a possibility, but it's probably not going to happen.
All right, AdamVersusTheMan.com, and people that were criticizing you guys. It's one thing if people say, I think it's a bad idea or I'm concerned, reasonably, like Lou Rockwell did, but others that have been really nasty, they're not the ones who have the courage to be doing this. And now the entire free press is under attack with all of this. And so it is absolutely imperative that people support the First Amendment of this country, even if they don't support the exercise of the Second Amendment. Lucas Jewell, Daryl Young, thank you both for spending time with us today, gentlemen.
Thank you, brother.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you, guys. All right, that's it for this important breaking interview here. And so I'm going to throw it back to Jakari Jackson and InfoWars Nightly News. Please support the First Amendment. I mean, now the FBI goes to question people who we predicted are going to end up dead, and they shoot them during the questioning. This is getting really creepy. And if their chilling effect works, we're going to convert to pure tyranny. This is the whole thing we've been seeing. This is the criminal takeover. And you can palpably feel the energy level of evil rising. But you also, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. The energy level of liberty and freedom is rising as well. And that's why InfoWars Nightly News is so incredibly important. Before I go back to Jakari, we are 110% in this fight. And I wish a lot of times I didn't have to spend so much of my time grubbling around with sponsors and trying to raise money to fund this operation. And we've done incredible things. It's very important for all of you to go to InfoWarsStore.com for the next week. We're going to run a 15% off on the ProPure water filtration, best stainless steel system out there. Side-by-side blows the competition away. It's what I use. And the money we make off that goes into this operation. It's not cheap, even though we operate from Texas that has a lot lower cost of living and running an operation. The new book, The Octopus Deception, is now out in English. Daniel Estlin, that's available. Pro-Second Amendment shirts to keep or not to keep. Why Christians should never give up their guns. Great to give your pastor. It's all available at InfoWarsStore.com. But we are only going to run this for about 6-7 days. Last time we did a 15% off on it, they all sold out. Because we already had the lowest price. With 15% off, it's incredible. Promo code WATER15 when you go to InfoWarsStore.com. WATER15 as the promo code WATER15 on the store, or when you call 24 hours a day, give them the promo code WATER15. That is 888-253-3139, 888-253-3139, WATER15. And we're a platform to then support everybody else and give them a voice. We have other talk show hosts on. We have other people we don't even totally agree with on. We've had people that have attacked us and demonized us before. If they're doing good work, I have them on just because I don't even care about myself, folks. It's not about egos. It's not about all this stuff. It's about trying to really find the truth and trying to have a future and a civilization. And I know I say the feds are evil. At the top, they're evil. And they can always find mainly weird socialists and Marxists that they're kind of the foot soldiers of the global fascists who will go out and do anything they're told. There are a lot of libertarian, a lot of conservative people that I've run into in the FBI, in the federal marshals, a lot of good state police around the country, local police. So I want to be clear. That there are a lot of good people in the government, but there were a lot of good German soldiers who just followed orders, man. And we got an evil government that's been taken over. And it's creepy as all get out to get up here every day and confront these people and then to get exhausted, but feel like I've got to do more because the time is so short. The enemy knows the time is short. So they work like the devil. And I wake up at 2 a.m., folks, trying to think how I can fight these people. And so please spread the word about Infowars.com. Please, if you have a PrisonPlanet.tv membership, one membership can be used by 11 people. simultaneously. Now make sure you have a username and passcode you can share. Don't have a username passcode you've created that's your other stuff, but create an original username passcode, and you can share it with up to 11 of your friends and family that can simultaneously watch. And so again, that's prisonplanet.tv. Get a membership today. But again, you know, we've built an operation where I can have Jakari in there doing the news. I can come in here and do an interview. We can make films. We can reach conservatively 15 million people a week. That's a very conservative number. Most media, you know, if you're on in a city of 1 million people, you go, I have 1 million listeners, because 1 million could potentially listen. That's actual listeners, 15 million worldwide. It's more like 25 million a week now, but probably 10 million of them here in the U.S. We've got different numbers and things. The point is that we're having a real effect, and that's why they haven't come after us as bad as they have others, is because we have gotten out in the sunshine. And I've gone through a lot of crap in the past. In fact, I've got letters right here. The general public is always saying to me, hey, Alex, you know, I don't get a yearly census. Well, you don't have a business. And I've got this right here. Let me find it with the actual cover letter. I'm going to do a whole piece on this tomorrow. I talked about some of this. I talked about this some today. I'm trying to find the cover letter. I just had the cover letter to this, where they're saying, you know, this is your last warning. You better answer our survey. And it goes on in here, the service annual survey. It's a service like the IRS. And it just goes into, hey, we've told you over and over again, you've got to answer all these hundreds of questions under penalty of perjury. Oh, yeah, here it is. Show people this. A message from the director of the U.S. Census Bureau. This is a yearly business census. I'd have to spend $100,000 to answer all these questions correctly. I mean, I'm looking at all these. I don't know how to answer these. You know, what's the licensing in this? Provide that. Provide this. How much money? This and that. Blah 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 blah. 2 months ago, we requested that you participate in a mandatory national survey, and then it goes into threatening me and how I'll be arrested and blah blah blah. And then, but the IRS head can declare the Fifth Amendment when she's known to have given the orders to go after people and persecute them. And then you've got, you know, this fictitious thing about, here's the example of how to fill out, you know, let's say if you made $1 billion, here's how you'd fill it out. And then, you know, here's the actual questionnaires in here. And it's just hundreds of questions and incredibly complex. What's this exact number? What's that exact number? Don't answer it right, we're going to arrest you. This is not what a free country is like, okay? And it's all a fraud. All right, that's it for this breakdown with Adam Kokesh. Very bone-chilling for everybody. So please stand with us and make us even stronger, because we're all in this together. Please support InfoWars and everything we do, and please pray for us. Back to Jakari Jackson and the conclusion of InfoWars and Nightly News. Many anthropologists and archaeologists believe that before man even discovered the power to harness and use fire, we were involved in agrarian activities. That is, taking the seeds of plants and then replanting them to produce more. The very foundation of our modern civilization and human culture is centered around the planting and cultivation of edible plants, fruits, vegetables, nuts, you name it. And the globalists have been going after gardening. They've been harassing people that have gardens in their front yards or their backyards. They've called for licenses for people to have gardens, because you can't trust prisoners in the police state America to be able to grow their own food. That's why I've come to the realization that we need to become self-sufficient. You need to be informed. You need to have the Second Amendment to protect yourself. You need to be politically active to wake up others. You need to filter your water. But you also need to plant a garden. Even if you live in an apartment, you can do this. If you live in the countryside, obviously you can do it on a grand scale. There are so many green belts in areas that humans don't even visit, nearby cities and in suburbs, where people are now more and more planting their own little private gardens and meadows and off the side of the road. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a revolutionary act to unplug from the television, to unplug from the computer and all the globalist propaganda, and to go out in your backyard or your front yard or planters at your apartment or on the roof of the building where you live, and to plant a garden.
Here are some of the amazing deals at InfoWars Seed Center at InfoWarsShop.com. The Survival Seed Vault by My Patriot Supply features only the finest survival heirloom seeds for a robust and hardy garden, even in the toughest of times. The ARC All-in-One Seed Kit contains 70 varieties of 50,000 seeds of fruits, vegetables, medicinal, and culinary herbs. All ARC seeds are heirloom. Each type is labeled and sealed separately for ease of use and longevity. The Deluxe Emergency Seed Bank combines 3 of Emergency Seed Bank's top sellers: the Family Survival Emergency Seed Bank, the Medicinal Herb Seeds Pack, and the Culinary Herb Seeds Pack. We also have starter varieties of the deluxe seed packages for fruit, salad, salsa, peppers, and medicinal herbs and more. Go to the InfoWars Seed Center at InfoWarsShop.com.
A little seed can grow a huge tree that produces fruit for up to 50 years. We have the best life bombs. That's what these are. We have the best weapons against death out there at the lowest prices, waiting for you to lovingly plant them and lovingly grow them and lovingly eat them and share them with others. We will strike back against the New World Order, and this is only one more initiative in our fight against them. So please join us at InfoWarsShop.com, or you can link through at InfoWars.com at the InfoWars Seed Center.